to have my sister join me today, Michele Wolff, all the way from Australia. I'll let Michele introduce herself, but I wanted to get Michele on because she's a naturopath doctor. She is a nutritionist and herbalist. And we've been chatting anyway about the immune system and how to boost the immune system, how to get well, what's causing the around being healthy and well during this lockdown period. So big welcome to you, Michele. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me. Yes, I've been working in the field of nutrition and herbal medicine for over 20 years, and I'm also a registered nurse and a senior lecturer at university and an author of a book called Digestive Solutions. So I'd just like to share with you today some things that you can do to boost your immune system for the long haul. Yeah. So unfortunately, there isn't a magic pill. It's not that cheap. No. And it's about lifestyle changes, and wherever you're at, you can make that change. So we have what's called an innate immunity, and that's what our body does naturally, and it's partly what you're born with. You're also born with genetics, but you can upregulate or downregulate your immune system according to your lifestyle. So over 70% of your immunity is actually in your gut, and a lot of research has been done on the gut-brain connection, and that the gut actually has its own brain. It's called the enteric nervous system. And your gut has an abundance of probiotics, which help with the immune system. And then, of course, you've got your lymphatic system and white blood cells in your blood, which are all part of your immune system. So in your life, there's different things that control that. So there's your mind. So if you're more cheerful or more happy, you'll produce hormones that help the immune system. Mm-hmm. If you're going through stress, you produce something called cortisol, which comes from the adrenal gland, and that actually lowers the immune system. So in these difficult times, we have to do what we can to put things in place and to trust and surrender as best as we can, and put things into place daily just to manage that level of stress. And you know, if you're not working and you've got more time to manage that, you can do that, and it depends on what you like doing. So some people will love gardening, other people it's a stress. So it's finding whatever really relaxes you and whatever feeds your soul, and just committing to a period of the day, like a minimum of half an hour a day, to really relax. So that's one thing. The other thing...
I'm really glad you're saying that, because often that's left out of the equation, isn't it? When we talk about the immune system, we often talk about the vitamins and the nutrients that you need. But of course, what can be causing your immune system to not be working so well isn't just, you know, somebody could have an incredibly healthy diet, but they might be a very stressed person naturally. So then therefore they're not enhancing their immune system fully. So that's great. Thank you. We've got Sue Andrews and Rachel joining us. Hi, Rachel. Rachel's also a naturopath doctor, aren't you, Rachel? I think. Anyway, yeah, thank you. Carry on.
Yeah, so you know, that is also important, because longevity and happiness is also about social connection, and you know, the whole mind-body connection, which we need to. It's really important that during these times of isolation, we keep that up, and we can keep that up through these measures over the internet and other means. And I just think it's the connection is very important, and putting things into place for your own well-being and your mind. I mean, I could go into that topic for a long time, but I'll go through different aspects that help your immunity. So the mind is one, because of how it particularly increases cortisol, which dampens the immune system. The other is getting the right amount of nutrients that support the immune system. I'm doing different research myself and talking to different professors in our industry of what is helping with herbs and nutrients. And there's also an awful lot you can do in your diet. And I was reading some research today that actually in the UK, heart attacks are down by 50%, and they are in several other countries. So they don't know exactly why, because if one reason is people are more relaxed in their homes, or whether those people who were going to have heart attacks have also got coronavirus. But there's further.
Oh, wow. That's really
Yeah.
interesting. So since during the last few months that the heart attacks have gone down?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Particularly in the last 2 months. But there's more research being done on that. So relaxation. So with nutrition, what has been found is that zinc is important. When I talk about nutrients, I'll talk about them also very much in food, because I think it's really important to have a professional who studied nutrition to prescribe, because it's not a reductionist method. It's about treating the person as an individual. So different people will require different amounts of nutrients as far as supplements according to who they are, their lifestyle, what their diet is like, and so on. And sometimes you can overdose on a certain supplement. It might not necessarily be good for the individual, but zinc has been shown to be incredibly important. They've actually done some studies in America with people with the virus where high doses of zinc for 3 days have been very effective, along with other methods. But if you build up your nutrients before anything happens, then your body has got the nutrition to deal with it. So as a nutritionist and herbalist, we're able to deal with people before they get it, to build them up and to help people's health and their immunity for the long term. We're also able to deal with people with the virus in the first and second stages, but we cannot deal with it in the third stage, which is when you need hospital treatment and usually intensive care. But the aim is to stop any of that happening. So zinc is
amazing.
really...
That's amazing that you can help people in the first and second stages.
Yeah. So zinc, and actually Prince Charles used herbal.
I saw that.
Not well publicized, but so zinc is very high in pumpkin seeds. It's also high in sunflower seeds. So if you're having a handful of either of those or a mixture of those a day, that will help to build up your zinc. I mentioned digestion before because that's paramount to it's a big part of your immune system, but it's paramount to everything absorbing. And stress can have an impact on the digestive system. Lots of things can, but if you're eating good food, that's going to help set up a good digestion as well. Interestingly, here all the fast food places are open, so takeaways are considered an essential service, and they are all still open, and bottle shops where you get alcohol are still open.
That is essential.
Yes, but from my perspective, if that is how you're living, if you're living having regular takeaway, you're not going to build up any level of health to support your immunity. If you're a well person, you can use the 80-20 rule. So 80% of the time eat well, and then you may be able to afford to have the odd takeaway. But certainly if you're missing it that much, there's something going wrong in your lifestyle, and it's just not going to build up your immunity. So now people have a lot more time in their homes to cook healthy food, and I believe that one of the number one Facebook posts is baking. People baking
I know.
bread.
It's so interesting. Actually, I've noticed all my videos have suddenly shot up with teaching people to cook. But also somebody was telling me yesterday his wife works for a supermarket chain, and the flour has gone up massively because people are baking so much more now. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah, and I think that is huge in Italy as well. So, so zinc's really important. The other and zinc helps the mucous membranes. It helps the lining of the lungs. So with this virus, the surfactants of the lung come out and they dry up. So zinc helps with that, helps the healing. Zinc's also important for your mental health and your hormones as well as immunity. The other important thing, and there's been some studies come out from China, is vitamin C. I mean, they're in the hospitals, they use quite high doses intravenously.
Do they
But
really? Right.
yeah, but
Right.
and there's quite a few herbal studies that have come out of China as well, because like Chinese medicine is part of mainstream. Chinese herbal medicine is part of
Yeah.
mainstream medicine, and Ayurvedic medicine, which I also do, is part of Indian mainstream medicine.
Yeah.
It's just very different in our countries. So vitamin A is a big part of the immune system as well, and it's stored in the liver. So you want to have good reserves of vitamin A when you get sick, because when you get sick, you use up a lot of your antioxidants, which I'm talking about now.
Yeah.
So if you build up reserve, so that's high in sweet potato. It's high in yellow and orange things, so squash, carrots. It's also, and that's in the form of beta carotene, which gets converted to vitamin A. Yeah. It's also very high in cod liver oil, so in oily fish, and it's also high in butter. But I would encourage organic butter. I encourage organic with everything. Yeah. Vitamin C, so vitamin A and vitamin D are in foods. Supplements you just need to be careful with, because they're stored in fat, you can overdose on those things as well. So vitamin D, your best bet is with the sun. It's also in fish products, and you can get your vitamin D levels tested, and your ideal level is about 100. 80 to 100 is good. You don't really want it to go higher than 100, and you don't really want it to go lower than about 70. So that's an important part of your immune system. The other,
let's just quickly recap on that. So we've got zinc in pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. We've got vitamin A. Vitamin A. Vitamin A. Vitamin A from orange foods, orange veg,
particularly sweet potato, carrots.
And vitamin D from the sun.
And also butter and cod liver oil. Vitamin D. There's also some vitamin D in cod liver oil, in some fish products, and from the sun. You need about 20 minutes with your arms uncovered, or the equivalent a day. It doesn't have to be in direct sunlight. And the next one is vitamin C. So unlike animals, we can't store vitamin C, so it's water soluble. So I could test somebody for their levels of vitamin C one day, and it will be fine, and the next day it will be low. So you actually need to replenish your vitamin C in food every day. So really high sources of vitamin C are lemons and limes. Squeeze that in your water, put it on salads. If you eat meat, you can marinate meat with lemon juice, and it makes it much easier to digest as well. Berries are really...
That's interesting. Why is that?
It breaks down the muscle of the meat, makes it more digestible. Kiwi fruit does the same thing too. And berries, they are very high in vitamin C. And red capsicum, I think you call them peppers in England, very high. Broccoli's high, as long as you don't overcook it. Parsley is also high in vitamin C.
But most fruit in general has vitamin C in, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I mean, I just don't advocate too much of really sweet fruits because people can overdo that, and you can get it in vegetables as well. So most fruit will have some vitamin C, but those ones in particular. And we have something called the Kakadu plum, which is the highest vitamin C food source in the world.
Oh, wow.
You can probably get that in a powder in the health food shops in England. Kakadu plum from Kakadu. So those are the high vitamin C foods. And then you have phytonutrients and antioxidants and what we call anthocyanins in purple foods like beetroots and berries. They're very good for your immune system. Then we have probiotic foods. So I'm sure a lot of you in England have come across kefir, which is a Balkan drink, very common in Czechoslovakia and Hungary. You can buy that from health food shops or from European delis, but you can also make it yourself. So kefir grains are easy to buy and it's very cheap to make it yourself. And you can make it from different types of milk, or you can make a vegan sauce from a nut milk or from water. So there are lots of different recipes on that. And that has an abundance of probiotics. Plain yogurt is good, but kefir is way, way higher in probiotics, which are really important for the immune system.
And that's the good bacteria, isn't it?
Good bacteria for your gut. And then you can have small amounts of sauerkraut or fermented food. I mean, when I'm working in my clinics, people with specific disorders sometimes can't tolerate fermented veggies, and there's reasons for that, but I'm just giving general advice. For most of the population are okay with that sort of thing. And obviously if you're out there and you've got fructose intolerance or small intestine bacterial overgrowth or something else going on, you just need to adjust your diet accordingly. And then when you've got a plate of food, what you want to be supplying you with a range of nutrients is for half of your plate to be vegetables, and that's non-starchy vegetables, and then quarter of your plate to be healthy carbohydrates, and quarter of your plate to be healthy protein, and within that are good fats. So bad fats really deplete the immune system from takeaways and margarine and so on, but good fats like avocado and nuts and olive oil and coconut products and oily fish really boost the immune system, particularly because they boost omega-3s, which are anti-inflammatory. So another thing that can happen with this virus is you can get what we call an inflammation cascade. So something called cytokines are released, and there are good cytokines to help inflammation, and there are bad cytokines. So some people, when they get really sick, it's because this cascade of cytokines and inflammation is just going out of control. Right. So the less inflammation you have in your body in the first place, and the more you can eat an anti-inflammatory diet, which is a whole food, preferably organic, high vegetable, high plant food diet, the better your body will be, and the more the immune system can adapt. Then the other thing. Can I
just ask a quick question? Hayley's asking, which form of zinc would you recommend?
I can't actually recommend zinc in supplement form without a consultation, and also I'm kind of wary of recommending zinc without as a therapist. You know, it's a bit like being a doctor and saying go and get this prescription without knowing the individual, because for some people zinc can deplete their copper. You know, zinc and copper work, and I'd need to kind of look at the diet and so on to see. I mean, you can contact me personally. You can get that information
What is your contact? Because it'd be great for people to contact you personally if they need to.
Well, my email is info@detoxspecialist.com.au. That's specialist with no S on the end, one specialist. That's probably the best way to
I'll type
start.
that in. So it's info at detox specialist. Oh my God, my specialist.com.au. Yeah, hopefully that will.
And my website is Ultimate Detox Solutions.
So Hayley's saying as a supplement, so zinc, citrate, glucose, gluconate, and picolinate.
Unfortunately, it's out of the bounds of my legislation. It's just like the same as a doctor can't recommend a prescription.
Okay.
But I'm very happy to talk about that personally.
Yeah. But the best food source is the pumpkin seeds and the
sunflower seeds. Yeah. I mean, zinc is also in all meat products, but I find it seems to boost particularly high with pumpkin seeds. So the other thing I just wanted to talk about was sleep. I can come back to the food in more detail if you like a bit later, but sleep is
I've just noticed I've only got 4% on my computer. So sorry. But let's definitely do another one because I also want to talk to you about 4G in another one. But yeah, carry on. We'll get this.
Okay. So sleep is really, really important for your immunity. So 8 hours of good sleep a night. Get all technology out of your bedroom. Let the air in the bedroom. Make sure you have a darkened room. Make sure your bed is not too hot or not too cold. You can use things like lavender oil to help you to sleep. On the topic of essential oils, they are really good to boost your immune system. As I'm sitting here, I have got vaporizing eucalyptus and tea tree and cedarwood. And sometimes I'll use rosemary as well. So we have that going in the clinic to just constantly detox the atmosphere.
Amazing.
But breathing those type of essential oils in also boosts your immunity.
When you say breathing them in, do you mean like having them in a steamer or putting them in a bath?
So yeah, I'm using a diffuser, a vaporizer at the moment. So that's one way of breathing them in. On another podcast or Facebook Live, I can talk about how you'd actually use them on your body, but I think we'll run out of time. But just to know, they are a good tool as well, as long as they're high quality, they are pure essential oils and they're not fragrant oils. And exercise is really important. So doing the right amount of exercise for your body. So if you under exercise, there's a problem, and if you over exercise, there's a problem. So if you're overstretching or doing too much for your body or not doing enough, so you need to find where you're at now. But there's a lot on the strengths of the lungs with this virus. So if you can increase the fitness, I mean, everybody needs exercise and fitness. Everybody needs to move oxygen each day. Everybody needs to get blood flowing around their body. I think that's all common sense. But we also need to strengthen lungs. So I live in quite a flat area, but today I found some steps up and down the beach, so I can get my heart rate up and get my lungs stronger. So the stronger your lungs, the better you are and the fitter you are. If you have fitness, then you have stronger lungs, you have a stronger
and the more relaxed you are as well, the stronger your lungs, the lower your heart rate, the more calm you are. If you breathe very shallowly and rapidly because you're stressed out, the depths of your lungs aren't used, and then it sort of is a catch-22. I think yoga's amazing for yogic breathing is amazing as well, isn't it, for improving your lungs?
Most definitely. And having a breathing exercise or regime every day. One thing I do is breathe in for the count of 4 and out for the count of 6, and I might do that for 10 minutes twice a day, and it just gets lots of oxygen. So there's various things you can do there. So exercise, good sleep, really healthy food, and the best whole food that you can get. So over here, and I think you've had the same problem there, we never run out of fresh food. The supermarket's running out of all the food that you can store for a year. In particular, pasta was the first thing to go, which shows that the majority of the population value pasta above any other food. Then tins of food were the next thing to go. But we have fresh food in abundance, and I think you do there as well. And you can buy that, on a daily basis. And fresh food is what is going to strengthen your immune system the most. Sunlight is really important. Healthy water is really important. So buy the healthiest water that you can afford.
What is healthy water? I'm so sorry, I've only got 2% left, so this might cut out. But what is
okay? So oxygen, lots of oxygen, and healthy water are the last two things I want to talk about.
Okay.
So healthy water, a filter which at least takes out chlorine, because that bleaches a lot of good probiotics and has problems in the system. But if you've got a filter that can also take out heavy metals and possibly fluoride, then you'll get even cleaner and purer water. And not buying water in plastic bottles, because that is a whole other health problem.
What brand? Do you know what brands are good? Healthy water wise?
I can tell you in Australia. Well, I advise different filters depending on what people can afford. So at the very top end of the range, you've got reverse osmosis, which takes everything out. Here you're looking at about $1,000, but on the supermarket you can buy Brita jugs for about $60. I believe you can buy them there. That's a really good start, because that takes out chlorine and heavy metals. If you buy mineral water, just get ones that are in glass bottles rather than plastic bottles. But just start improving the quality of your water. The other really important thing is alkalizing. So the more alkaline your diet is with plenty of vegetables in particular, and some fruit, then your system will have a lot more buffers there to support your immune system. So when you're acidic, you start to pee out magnesium, calcium, potassium, and other things.
Sorry, there's a few questions coming in. So Anita saying, coconut water, is this okay? I have it in my smoothie every morning, but also like to drink it on its own.
So coconut water is one of the most healthy alkalizing drinks, so far better than any commercial sports drink, because it doesn't have colorings, it doesn't have added sugar, very high amounts of potassium, which are really alkalizing. So really healthy.
Really good. Just to make sure it hasn't got added sugar. Some of the brands do, but Innocent doesn't.
Obviously you have to make sure that the amount, you don't overdo the coconut water as well. I think I have lost you. Have I lost you? In case I haven't lost you, I'll talk about oxygen, but you're not moving on my screen. So getting good amounts of oxygen through breathing. There are certain supplements that we prescribe that give oxygen to the body, but the more oxygen you've got, the better your immune system is going to be. I think I've lost you, Christianne. I don't know if you can hear me. You've frozen on the screen. I'm just going to type you a message. I'm not able to get any reception or hear you, so I will just click off, and then maybe we can talk again another time.
Oh, okay. Shall we try again?
Yeah, I'll have to go in 10 minutes.
Okay, that's fine. Let's. Do you want to try that same?
So I don't know if I'm on it or not. Hang on, let me just see.
Do you want to click on a new link and we'll just try again?
I'll just go in again. Okay.
Just click on that link I gave you initially, and I'll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I'm back. Oh, sorry about that, guys. We got cut off. Oh, we are all back now. Oh, that's good. Right, let me just get my sister back up. We're back. That's amazing. I didn't know you could do that.
So
Yeah,
I'll just
sorry.
I'll mention a couple more things in case they didn't hear that. So
Yeah.
the other thing, just wanted to mention that makes a huge difference with diet is garlic. So garlic is a natural antibiotic. You can include garlic in your diet every day. So I would suggest garlic and onions. Onions are also really good folk medicine. Like if you put half an onion by your bed and you breathe in the vapors, that really helps your lungs.
Really? Wow.
And
sorry, going back to the oils, what oils were good?
Eucalyptus, rosemary, tea tree. There's one called Ravensara.
And that's all good for your lungs in general?
They're good for your immune system and bugs in general.
Okay.
So yeah, detoxifying the atmosphere, good for you to breathe in, good to boost your
So can I just ask a quick question? So why is it that having a better immune system will help fight the coronavirus?
Because it's all about when you get any kind of bug, whether it's a parasite, a virus, a bacteria, a fungus, or any contagious illness, it's your immune system that fights it off. As I said, you've got your innate immune system, and then you've got another part of your immune system that you can control through lifestyle.
And so why is it that some people are getting this more severely than others? Is it to do with their immune system?
Well, your immune system is always going to go down with age. So, when you're young, you're in what we call an anabolic state. So your body is building up and it's very vital. As you get older, it's in what we call a catabolic state. So it's breaking down. We're all aging in effect. So when you're aging, everything is deteriorating. So you're more vulnerable when you're aging in a lot of ways, because your body doesn't have the same strength and youthfulness or the same necessarily immune system as it's older. So that's one factor. There's a lot of research being done that probably isn't going to come out for a year, but most cases people have some underlying health problem.
Yeah.
So they may have diabetes, they may have cancer, they may have heart disease. There's also research being done on interaction with different drugs and medication.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Because there was a boy here who died he was only 14 in Portugal, but he did have psoriasis, and he was on medication for that. And I read somewhere that it was like the anti-inflammatory medication that could have contributed.
Possibly. But when you've got psoriasis, you've got a level of inflammation happening in your body as well. But different people, they're also working out which arm of the immune system from a medical point of view clears the virus. So there may be some people also genetically where they clear it more than others. But from a logical health practitioner point of view, if you are armed with really good nutrition and your stress levels are low and you're getting good sleep and you're having things like garlic in your diet. The other thing that's really good in the diet are super mushrooms, like shiitake mushrooms. They boost the immune system.
Okay.
I think.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I think if you can put these things, step by step into place and just work on health generally, then you have a fighting chance with any virus. I mean, I'm sure you've had the experience of maybe being in an office and 7 people go down with that cold or flu, but 3 are fine. Well, it's about the terrain that they've got, and it's about the strength of their immunity. And I'm sure you've had the experience of whenever you've been run down, you pick up something more. And it's not necessarily bad to catch something, it's also how well you recover. So, if you're armed with a good immune system and lower inflammation, you'll recover a lot faster. And I'm excited in my medicine that we have some wonderful herbs to help people as well.
Yeah.
But what I'm really wanting to get across is that it's about how you look after yourself for the long haul. I'll actually have to shortly because I'm running a webinar.
That's fine. Yeah, I just wanted to jump back on and then that's a good point about the whole long haul thing, because this isn't going to go away in a few months, is it? It's going to continue even when we all go back to normal and back to our daily lives out of quarantine and back at school and all of the rest of it. It's still going to be there, and so it's important in this period of quarantine to really help build up our immune system, isn't it?
And it's probably a chance a lot of people have got time, and it's about creating little habits step by step, so rather than reaching for that packet of biscuits or chocolate, go for a walk instead. You can just do things each day to make steps in a better direction. It can be overwhelming to go from one diet to another all at once, but if you can sort of commit each week to doing things, then you'll find in a matter of weeks how, I at the moment, since we've been in lockdown, I've got so much more time for exercise and much more time to cook. And it was a beautiful day today. Normally on a beautiful day I'm in my clinic all day, and I thought, well, I'll go out for a 3-hour walk because make the most of the sun. So
amazing.
It's just taking the opportunity to do, and so many more people are home cooking, and that's just wonderful.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to recap then. So first of all, we lower the stress, because stress is going to be a massive contributing factor to lowering your immune system, and lowering the stress through breathing, meditation, yoga, getting out in nature. And then you talked about the nutrients, the zinc in pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. You talked about the vitamin A, beta carotene, all orange vegetables. Talked about vitamin C in most fruits, some vegetables. And you talked about the aromatherapy oils that you could use, which were, just remind us again, those aromatherapy oils. So they were
eucalyptus, tea tree, rosemary, rebensera. Also talked about exercise, oxygen,
filling your
really
lungs.
healthy sleep, and the dietary things I mentioned as well. But happy to talk again. I've just got 2 minutes.
Okay, can I just really quickly, I know this is a controversial subject, but 5G has been in the news as a conspiracy theory as to why this as many other conspiracy theories out there, but I am interested in 5G and I am concerned about it. And I know you don't want to talk too much about it yet because you want to do more research on it, but what is the theory initially about 5G? And there are certain things we can do to protect ourselves, aren't there?
It works through shorter waves. It's more like a pulse, and it can cause free radicals in the body. But I'll look through all my papers this week. It's just another it's another thing that can make you more vulnerable. But if you're strong in the factors that I mentioned, then you'll be a lot stronger. But yeah, happy to talk about that another
Yeah, I
time.
really want to talk about that. I'm really interested to know, because it is in certain cities, and there are ways we can protect ourselves. It is causing free radical issues, but we can protect ourselves as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Michele.
Yeah.
It's
Pleasure.
amazing
Yeah.
speaking to you. And yeah, let's try and hook up next week if we can. It's been brilliant.
Yes.
Just remind everyone how they can connect with you again. I have written it down on
info@detoxspecialist.com.au. My name is Michele Wolff with one L, Wolff like Christianne, and my business is called Ultimate Detox Solutions, and I'm in Melbourne, Australia. Okay.
Perfect. But
Thank you.
Connect with people via the airwaves, can't you?
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. Thanks, Mish. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, thanks everyone for joining us. I'm sorry we got cut off there. Don't know if you can still, let me just see if you can still see me. So that was really fascinating. I've been speaking to Michele quite a bit recently about 5G, and I did say, can we chat about that? But she was like, well, I want to just do a bit more research with it. 5G is like one step up from 4G, and there is some science out there showing that it is affecting people's free radicals, affecting people's lungs. But there are things we can do to protect ourselves. And so, yeah, I want to get Michele on to talk about that a bit more next week, potentially. But thanks for joining us. I hope you found that interesting. Michele is been my inspiration to get into the health and wellness industry. She's 7 years older than me, my sister. And when I was younger, I had a lot of health issues as a sort of child, not as a sort of child, as a child. And then all the drugs that I had to take as a child then transpired. I had a lot of mental, emotional, and physical issues as a teenager. And Michele, because she was 7 years older than me, she was sort of always researching and really interested in nutrition initially for her. And that really got me then very interested to know that I could actually heal my body, not just through medicine, but through nutrients, through foods. And so I would attribute a lot of what I have learned to Michele. So it's wonderful to have her on, and definitely want her on again. Anyway, have a wonderful day. I will speak to you soon. Looking forward to speaking a lot more on my podcast shows. Bye for now.